This is Daria Sosnovskaya. The video of her detention by the Russian guard in Moscow last Sunday went viral. She is not resisting arrest. On the way to a police van, one of the 5 officers involved punches the unarmed protester in the stomach. Human rights group Agora announced a 100,000 ruble prize to the one who identifies the policeman. A day later, Russia's Interior Ministry published a statement denying the obvious. The personnel depicted on this footage, quote, does not belong to any Russian guard unit. Soon after, a Russian news outlet published information on the name and rank and unit of the officer, citing unnamed colleagues in the Russian Guard. The officer promptly removed all his pictures from social media and responds to journalists asking for comment by blocking them. Following Saturday's rally for fair elections to the Moscow Council, at least 260 Russians were detained, including 10 minors.
Его мама дома ждет, ребята, он несовершеннолетний, ему 13, не надо! Ребята, ему 13!
These are not isolated cases. A week earlier, another video made headlines. On it, cyclist ANDREI KURGIN is being beaten by the Russian Guard. He says it felt like being attacked and beaten by thugs in broad daylight in central Moscow.
I want them to identify those officers and check whether their actions are in line with the law and police and whether it's at all legal to use force against a person who does not resist.
ANDREI is one of a number of activists who filed formal complaints against the police demanding an internal investigation.
The police and the National Guard used rather brutal force against everyone. I don't know of a single case where the use of such force was warranted. As far as how often that happens, lately this is systemic.
17-year-old ALEKSANDR KOSTIUK spent several days in hospital after being beaten by the police at a recent rally.
I wanted to read them Article 31 of Constitution to remind them that we have a right to gather without arms for peaceful assemblies. Suddenly I am swarmed from behind by 5 law enforcement officers. One of them took away the Constitution and my backpack. 4 of them put me on the ground and began beating me.
Having recovered from a concussion, ALEKSANDR and his parents filed a complaint with the police.
All of this is being done, frankly speaking, I guess just to prevent similar incidents from happening in the future. As regards to some kind of damages being paid, nobody is thinking about that right now. All we are hoping for is to create publicity that will have some influence, and perhaps those people will think what actions they are committing and why.
Over the past 3 weeks, more than 2,500 Russians were detained at rallies in Moscow. The protesters demand that authorities allow independent candidates to run in Moscow Council elections scheduled to take place on September 8. Reported by Alexander Kulibaba and Denise Porokniak for UATV.